Charities play a vital role in our community, supporting those who are most vulnerable. Creating a charity can be easy, but turning it into a sustainable organisation is hard work. The Growth Project supports small, successful charities, helping them grow so they can maximise their positive impact. We're a non-profit organisation that runs development programmes for charity leaders to grow their knowledge, skills and leadership potential. But we're not doing it alone. The Growth Project brings together an inspired group of supporters who believe in the power of engaged giving. They share their time, knowledge and resources to help develop the future leaders of the UK's non-profit sector. Together, we are taking care of those who care. Together, we can make a sustainable difference in the world.
I want to quickly share with you my own experience with the Growth Project. As some of you will know, the Growth Project was co-founded in Australia by the utterly brilliant and very wise Larry Finlayson, who joins us in the audience tonight. When we brought it to the UK, it was already tried and tested and it was hugely successful. And that's largely because of the magic recipe that Larry and his team had invented to bring leaders from different sectors together in ways that no one had really thought of before. So Nicole and I were handed this recipe, but we were also trusted to add a few flavors of our own. But we've never strayed very far from the original plan. We never needed to. The Growth Project has been the most fulfilling venture that I have ever been involved in, and I've been involved in a few. It's enabled me to work with brilliant people like Laura, Jono, Jess, and importantly, my co-founder, Nicole, who's quite simply the kindest human being that I've ever known. It's brought hundreds of people into my world, people who I just never would have met otherwise. And these people inspire me with their ability, with their commitment, their purpose and their passion. And all of it is aimed at making a difference. It's opened my eyes to the depth of the challenges that society faces. And it's also made me optimistic about the future. So long as these people keep going and so long as we can find ways to support them with our time, with our money and with our talent, then we'll be able to mitigate some of those issues in society and maybe even make some of them go away completely. So tonight is also a way for me to stand back and celebrate these people alongside all of you who've taken the time to join us tonight. We're incredibly lucky that Elliot Moss has agreed to come back and host this event. Based on the comments that we had last time, he definitely is back by popular demand. Elliot is a partner at the law firm Mishcon de Ray. He's also a long-standing presenter of the brilliant show Jazz Shapers on Jazz FM, tune in. He also happens to be a lovely person and a good friend. So I'm now going to place you into Elliot's hands whilst I pour myself a whiskey. I'm going to join the celebration. Elliot, as always, you know how it works. Go wherever you think will be interesting. I'll hand it over to you, my friend.
Paul, thank you, my friend. And hello, everyone. Good evening or good morning, depending on where you are. I saw in the chat that we've got someone here from Australia, obviously from Martin. If you want to let us know where you are, it's not quite Heart FM here in the UK, but I'm very happy if you'd like to do a shout out for wherever you are. If you're in the UK, if you're in Bournemouth, if you're in Plymouth, Melbourne, wherever it might be, it'd be lovely for those people who are involved to see where you are right now. So as Paul said, I was very privileged to oversee the J's graduation. I think that's right, Nicole. It was the J's back in March, which was an extended year from last year because of COVID. And here we are, and it feels like 5 minutes ago that it was the J's, and now here's with the Keas. And it's brilliant that you're all able to listen to them talking today about what they've learned. And this is it's a crazy time, isn't it? Wherever you are in the world, it's impossible not to be affected by what is going on around us. So what better time when there's massive disruption happening in all sorts of ways in our lives to have a moment to take stock and to have a moment to think and reflect, because that, I think, is one of those commodities which is probably the most important if we're all going to live purposeful lives, which is, I think, what it's all about. Without further ado, we're going to do a whistle-stop tour of our Keas. So I'm going to ask each one of them to introduce themselves. They've got 9.7 seconds, at which point they get cut off, and then I go to the next person. Well, they may have 10.5 if they're lucky. So let's start with Aviva, if Aviva has finished her food. Has Aviva finished her food?
I have.
Good.
Hi, I'm Aviva Steinberg from Faith Communications. I'm a marketing consultant and I'm currently being a digital nomad living in Barcelona.
Aviva, thank you. Let's go to Sat.
Hi everyone, my name's Sat. I'm the CEO and founder of Renaissance Foundation, which is a London-based specialist charity supporting young carers and young patients.
Lovely to see you, Sat. And from Sat to Matt.
Hi, I'm Matt and I'm Communications Director at Spare Room.
Thank you very much. Ben, where are you? Ben in Dig Deep, there he is.
Evening all. I lead the international development charity Dig Deep. We work in Kenya and our purpose is to transform the provision of clean water, safe sanitation and good hygiene for 1 million people.
Thank you, Ben. Over to Steve, Stephen, whatever he wants to be called, from Beaverbrooks.
Hi.
There he is.
Hi, I'll go with Stephen. So I'm Stephen and I am a recruitment and training manager at Beaverbrooks, the jewellers.
Thank you, Stevie, Stephen. Gemma, where are you?
Hi, I'm here with all the lights on me.
Nice lights.
Thank you. I'm Gemma Hillier-Moses. I'm founder of Move Charity. And Move Charity is a charity that supports and inspires people to move against cancer, because movement really does matter.
Gemma, thank you. Lovely to meet you. Kim.
Hi, I'm Kim McCabe and I'm the founder director of Rights for Girls, where our mission is to change the world, no less, one girl at a time. So we work with small groups of girls, either online or in person, just supporting them safely through their adolescence. And then we train women to run those groups.
Fantastic, thank you, Kim. Rachel.
Hi there, I'm Rachel Warren. At the start of the programme, I was the VP of Finance Business Partners at Sage.
Brilliant, Rachel, thank you. Over to Kate, who I've known since 1989. That doesn't age us at all. Kate. Oh, you're on, oh no, it's the 2021 mute thing. Kate.
Oh, just fall for it every time, Elliot. Sorry about that. I'm Kate Bierman. I'm Director of Autumn Communications of Corporate Affairs Consultancy.
Lovely, thank you, Kate. Chloe.
Hello everyone, I am Chloe from the Hala Foundation and we work with vulnerable communities in Kenya, helping them to restore degraded landscapes through regenerative agriculture and nature-based solutions.
Brilliant. Adam.
Hi everyone, Adam Silver. I am, for all my sins, the Chief Financial Officer, most recently at Time Out, and soon to be announced somewhere else.
Don't reveal it tonight, Adam.
I don't know it yet.
Oh, okay, good. I was going to say I don't have to get you a good lawyer because that is where I live. Kate T from Clarkson's.
Hi everyone, my name is Kate Thompson and I'm a divisional director at Clarkson PLC.
Fantastic. And I think I'm going to go to Sophia. Hello, Sophia. Hi, can you hear me? Okay. Can anyone hear me? Has anyone stopped? You can hear me still? Yeah. Sophia, hello. Do you want to introduce yourself? Maybe her sound's not working.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sophia and I work at Sage. I work as a business executive or chief of staff in our cybersecurity function.
Thank you very much. It was a pregnant.
Yeah, I can.
It's okay.
Did you get me? I did my intro.
No, it's very good. It was dramatic. It was dramatic. We weren't sure what was happening, but now we do. You're back in the room. It's good. Let's go to
Yeah,
bed.
sorry, I just did it. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you. We got you. It's okay.
Massive delay.
Where are you, Sophia, tonight? Are you in which country? Don't answer. It's okay. It could take a while. Let's go to Ben. Ben in Mosaic. Hello, Ben.
Hi, everyone. I'm the founder of Mosaic Education, and we support refugees to reach university.
Excellent. Thank you. Jemima.
Hi, my name's Jemima Harris. I work at Clarkson's and I'm a director and head up our Clean West Tanker Desk.
Wow, that's a good title for a desk. Thank you. Taban, there you are.
Hi, I'm Taban and I'm the founder of the Lotus Flower, and we support women and girls impacted by conflict and displacement and help them rebuild their lives.
Fantastic, thank you. And last but not least, Dave.
Hi everyone, I'm Dave Rawlinson. I'm learning and development director for Sage.
Excellent, and we've learned very early on, because we're in the world of everyone's homes, that Dave has many pets, including chickens, but we aren't going to see that. We can see the chickens, or they're somewhere else.
I'll get them out at the end.
Thank you, Dave. That's what is it conditional? Is it, do we have to do something to get the chickens out?
Lay an egg.
Well, that's not going to happen. So the chickens are safe. Fantastic. I think that's it. Have I missed anybody? I'm just double checking. That is everyone done? Good. We've introduced everybody. Fantastic. Let's move to, I think we're going to move to Nicole. If Nicole pops up magically, where is she? The nicest person, according to Paul Freeman. I'm hoping I'm going to see her. There she is. And I will move. There you go. There. That's easier for me to say. Hello. It's lovely to see you again. How are you?
Very good. Fantastic to see you, Elliot. Thank you.
I'm assuming that this, before we go into things, before we talk about magic recipes, it looks like you get energy from every minute of every moment that you're involved with this project. Why does it energize you, do you think?
I mean, just today, actually, I sent Paul a text, a little message just saying, we have to do this forever. And the energy, I think, is just by being with these incredible, magnificent human beings who are just, they're so engaging. They really want to change the world. They put themselves out there. The business leaders transforming their own journeys, but really just the whole synergy of the way people come together, work together, support each other for the greater good. It's just, from my perspective, just a privilege to be part of this program, and just don't want to ever end. And so as we come to the end of each graduation, it's like, oh no, stay with us, please.
Don't go. Yeah, lock them in the virtual and the physical rooms. So you co-founded it here in the UK. When you co-founded it and you heard about this magic recipe that was came over from Larry and his team in Australia, what did you think you were creating, and what do you think you actually have created?
Interesting. So I think when Paul and I were first kind of brainstorming what this means or what this would look like, we were both in the position that we really wanted to do more good than we were doing, and each of us were working with individual charities and doing the best way that we could contribute. And then when, in looking at the Growth Project, it was a way of hopefully doing, you know, conglomerating everything together so we could help many people at once, but from a perspective of using our skills around strategy, leadership development, learning and development to make a difference. So I think we kind of stepped into the unknown. We didn't know where this was going to go and what the impact would be. We loved Larry's whole vision and seeing the work that they've done in Australia and seeing the impact on many lives through the work that the charity leaders had done, but also in visiting Australia directly and seeing, meeting with some of the business leaders. And what I love most of all is the way that their lives were transformed, and how some of them said that, you know, they had no expectation around the change that they would experience, but how they had taken the learning to their home and how they had shifted dramatically around the relationships with their families, from not being available, for example, a CEO with, you know, who was as a mother and had not had the time to raise her children, suddenly woke up to that and started being really present as a mother, and also even with her employees, not knowing what was happening necessarily around someone who just was coming late every day, hadn't inquired around the why, and had found out some critical information about what was happening in their lives. And, you know, for 10 years hadn't known this, but through her experience in the Growth Project, opened her eyes to being human. So moving from the human doing to the human being. And I think that's a key aspect that hopefully we fuel as part of the Growth Project. You know, there is more than.
And in terms of those human beings, apart from the kind of the learning in a way that everyone receives and that is transmitted and shared, is there a lot of learning that goes on between the human beings in the group just because that's what happens?
Yeah, absolutely, totally. So, I mean, we kind of hold the workshops, or we have one-to-one coaching sessions before and after, and then in between we have monthly workshops. And there's absolutely leadership skills that we're developing so that they can be more I suppose, even more refined in terms of the positive impact. But it's really those conversations and the connections that are happening in between the workshops, where, whether it's between the growth partners or between each other, and it doesn't mean, this is about blurring the lines, as you'll hear later on, but it's actually, even within the charities, within the business and cross, people are, they're talking, they're learning, they're growing, and that there's such a wide range of expertise across the leaders, from, as you've heard, maybe it's marketing, communications, human resources, strategy, that the charities are really able to glean that expertise and apply it directly. And hopefully when we hear some of the stories today, you'll see just how that's been applied very practically, with huge impact. So there's from, now it's had to be more virtual, but coming out this year, it's also been face-to-face. So whether it's just that coffee and that reach out to the conversation when someone's in need, it's been quite amazing personal connection that's happened here. And I think we've gone really deep this year, where people have really shared in many ways about their own journeys, about where they're at, that there's something, as you mentioned the word magical, it's been magical around the way that we've all connected more deeply than just charity or business. There's something else that's happened here, as you say, as human beings, supporting each other, growing together, and applying the lessons practically.
Yeah, Nicole, thank you. Thinking about the chemistry that you just talked about between these human beings, of which many of them are there, waiting in the wings, desperate to hopefully share what they've learned. I'd love to bring in now Chloe and Kate, if they're there. Kate B, and where's Chloe? And hopefully they will pop up through the magic of some kind of, there we go, there's Chloe.
Hi, Elliot.
Hello, Chloe, the excellent double-barreled name. And there she is, look at that, it's amazing. Hopefully you can see what I can see, Chloe and Kate. Can I ask you, Chloe, as the leader in the charity, were you surprised by how easy it was to connect with Kate? Different industry, I'm not going to say different generation, Kate, it's okay, but I'm going to say different generation, lots of different stuff, different life experience, and yet you connect. And if you did connect, what's it given you? What's that connection actually given you?
Well, I would say I was definitely skeptical before I met Kate about the whole idea of being matched with somebody, with a business leader. But I would say that as soon as we met, we instantly clicked. And I just say, ever since, Kate has been incredibly supportive to me. She's gone above and beyond, helping me with everything from building business plans, designing common strategies, pitching to my board. She's really kind of been there through everything. And I'm just incredibly grateful to that. And I feel like this is actually, although the growth project is ending today, I feel like this is probably the very start of a very strong relationship. So no, I'm very grateful to the growth project for connecting me to Kate, but to the wider community as well.
And from your perspective, Kate, obviously, look, I know you from when we were at university, and you've always been a very values-driven person, someone who's cared about society and well-being in the most general sense. What have you got out of it as someone who's running their own business, talking to Chloe and getting to know her and helping her face those kind of more structural and businessy issues, if you like?
That you never stop learning throughout your whole career. You never stop learning, and the bottom line is that Chloe is a talent. I mean, she won't mind me saying that she is a young chief executive, and I've been absolutely astonished by her grip on the organisation, on the need for strategic planning, of confronting things that have been really quite difficult over the year. And I'm in awe of that. And I think, yes, the whole mentoring piece, I mean, it isn't mentoring, it's sharing experiences, learning from each other. And I think the other thing I think, Chloe, that you'll agree with is we've gone from sort of macro to micro, haven't we? We've sort of, we've looked at, business planning, and then something will have come up. We were talking pretty much every week, every other week, and something would come up where you could go into the weeds and really sort of iron out how to solve a particular problem. So we've sort of danced around together. But from my point of view, I would hate to think that I've stopped learning. And I think there's a massive amount to learn from that next generation. So it's been a real privilege working with her. She's a real talent.
That's lovely. Such generous words. Kate, Chloe, thank you. I'm going to zip over to talk to Aviva. Is Aviva there somewhere. Matt, you seem to have popped up, which is nice. You can stay there if you like, but we don't care. Matt, stay there. You look lovely. Let's ask Chloe and Kate to go from the centre stage to the left and right. There she is. There's Aviva. Hello. Aviva, the rumour has it, or people have told me, my informants, that you struck up an incredibly strong relationship with Cheryl, who can't be here this evening, unfortunately. Just tell me a little bit about what Remember My Baby does and about your experience together and why it was so powerful for you.
From the beginning, we hit it off, Cheryl and I. She's an extremely personable and bubbly individual. And ever since our first online meeting, which was just about a week or two before the first workshop, I've imagined her to be just brilliant when she visits families, and what must be one of the darkest moments and days in their lives after losing a newborn child. And I'm sure she must immediately put them at ease. She's passionate about what she's built over the last 7 years with Remember My Baby, and she's an incredibly humbling lady. She's never actually told me, and you guys probably don't know, but she was recognised in the Queen's New Year's Honours List in 2019 when she received a British Empire Medal. She thinks she's an incredibly ordinary person, and that's probably the way she's come across, but she's so not. She's extraordinary. She really is. She's an individual who's talented. She's a photographer, as you realise and you'll know from what she does. She's focused. She's very vivacious, and she's fun. She's great fun. And I've loved helping her shape her vision for Remember My Baby. The workshops that we've attended together throughout the entire growth project time have really helped, especially Paul's one-page business plan. We both certainly learned a lot that day, and it was really useful for her and useful for me as well. And the communication between us just flowed with ease throughout the entire programme. And our mutual, almost inherent understanding of each other helped us collaborate throughout the entire time. We've actually finally met up in person last month, just before I left the shores, the British shores. And it was as if we'd done it umpteen times before, and we nattered about all things work and life. I could have stayed there for hours. We both felt as if we'd been in each other's lives forever, really.
I've just received a message, you probably saw it, which says, "I'm here, you're great." And actually what I was going to say, if Cheryl was able to just say what you were like, and I need you to embarrass yourself, Aviva, you need to be honest, what would Cheryl say was special about you? You just talked about humility, you talked about specialness, you talked about all sorts of things. Just pretend it's not you for a minute and you're Cheryl. What would Cheryl say about Aviva Steinberg?
I'm not sure I'd be able to answer that. I'm not very good at those kind of things. I just think we gelled, we genuinely gelled, and we seemed to be on the same page, and we just kind of got each other. We really did, and we every time we broke out into breakout rooms, and we kind of both had the same feelings about what had just happened, what occurred, or what we were faced with. Yeah. We'd kind of embrace what we were just about to have to go forward and work on together. We would just connect. We connected just really easily. Paul got it right. Paul got it right when he paired us. I just want to thank him and the entire team for this experience and for the connections that I've made, not just with her, but with everyone. It's a period in my life I won't forget, and I hope I'll always take it on my journey.
Aviva, brilliant. Thank you so much for sharing that. Let's move to Matt and Ben, who've been patiently waiting there, like Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, two fantastically handsome fellas. When you met, when you start meeting people as you get older, you sort of have that, I've got my friends, I know who I talk to, I know who I trust. And yet it sounds like Ben and Matt and Ben, apart from writing movies and filming, starring them, have also connected. Ben, what have you learned from Matt?
Big question. So we were obviously strangers last March, and since then we've spoken at least probably more than an hour a week, which you told me that would have seemed quite intense before actually getting into a relationship. But I don't know, Matt's been a friend, guide, mentor, cheerleader, shoulder to cry on, confidant, communications consultant. He's got stuck into fundraising. I've never met anyone more generous with their time and talent. So it's been a challenging year for lots and lots of reasons. And it's been for people, but I think like those conversations really helped me to not just survive, but like really flourish, and therefore get the charity to flourish with me over the last year. So thank you, mate. We appreciate that.
And Matt, that's lovely words. And Matt, from your perspective, were you expecting what you felt and what you got from Ben, or was that a pleasant surprise as it emerged over these hourly conversations each week?
I don't know what I expected, if I'm honest, but what I loved was that from the first minute of this, Ben just went, right, let's talk. Let's not wait around for each month to come. Let's do it if you're up for it. And it was, yeah, let's do that. And by the time we physically met, it felt like we'd known each other for months, and it was just a case of, oh yeah, it's you, yeah, okay, you've got legs. You're a real person. But it's been incredible. I think this whole process, and particularly working with Ben, and the thing I kind of want to emphasize, so I don't think Ben realizes how much I've got out of this. I think he thinks he's got a lot out of it, and I've imparted something, and I've probably got more out of it than he has, I think. And it's the whole process, and just working with Ben has taught me like both my values, but also my value. I sort of came into this process thinking I don't really know what I've got to give, if anything. I've been in the same job for a long time. It's hard to see yourself out of context. And just having these conversations and realizing that some of the things that I can do are incredibly valuable somewhere else, it's been a bit of a revelation, actually. And I found the whole experience just really moving and really kind of grounding. It's given me so many things to think about that I'll be unpacking for years to come. And I fully expect and imagine that over those years, Ben will be one of the people I unpack those things with.
That's brilliant. That's fantastic to hear. And that point about realizing your own worth, Matt, I think that probably resonates with most people over the age of 25, because you sort of at some point forget that you're good at anything, and that you, as you said, that you have real qualities and knowledge. You know stuff, and until someone actually asks you, you don't remember that you knew that stuff. So I think that's a real human truth, and fantastic to hear. Thank you both. I'm going to fly over virtually to Jemima and Taban. Taban's in the best bed ever, because it can move up and down. She's got this electrical thing, but we agreed you're not going to play with it too much tonight. It's brilliant that you're here. Let's not ask Jemima first. I'm told that at the beginning it was like, how is this going to work? Someone in the shipping broking world meets someone in the charity world. I think we're about as opposite as we can be. Has it worked? What's the chemistry been like? Have you been surprised, Jemima?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we couldn't be more opposite, Taban and I. And when we first did our Lumina profiling, we were basically opposite ends of the spectrum. I'm very organized, very sort of process driven, very structured, like to have everything kind of in a very set order, whereas Taban is totally the opposite. She's creative. She doesn't like to have things too planned out. She's spontaneous. And so I just thought we're going to be polar opposites. And actually we have completely gelled. We've come together. She's helped me in so many ways. I'd like to think I've hopefully helped her, but she's really taught me sort of the need to slow down, to take a breath sometimes, not to move through the world at 60 miles an hour in everything I do. So actually it's been tremendous. She's been a fantastic help.
And from your perspective, Taban, I hear that you've created a second charity in addition to the amazing work you already do with women and girls affected by conflict. And this is around, I think, a digital platform that links therapists to these people with mental health issues. How has the Growth Project enabled you to even think about doing that at this moment for you in your life?
I think for me, the Growth Project has just been a great example of just the way that we've had practical learnings that I've been able to implement at the Lotus Flower, and the way that they've actually paired us up with the right people for me, Jemima, and bringing in that structure and that planning. So that was one element. And out of that, despite having quite a challenging year, out of that came this digital platform for, and it's called Therapy Beyond Borders. And it's to connect therapists with vulnerable groups like refugees, human trafficking victims, domestic violence victims. And the aim is to make therapy more accessible. And actually, the growth project gave me the confidence to actually go, okay, this is not a big task. These are the things that we need to do, and this is how we can do it. And out of that, and from the learnings and the practical implementation, I've been able to go and do all the planning, build a governance board, which is absolutely phenomenal, that I would never thought I'd get such an amazing board, and for the application to go in. And it's not just for the Lotus Flower that the application's gone in, but it's also for Therapy Beyond Borders. So I've managed to kind of do 2 in 1 year with the support of the growth project, while being in hospital. So it's been great.
I feel like we should just kick a football at this. You start nodding up and down or something. You just sound like you can pretty much do anything at once. Very good, but don't do that. That's probably not a good idea in hospital. By the way, the number 26, which is where I can see in the back, is my wife's lucky number. And I've only just noticed that. Isn't that strange? Ooh, life's very spooky. So there you go. So enjoy the number. There's some biblical importance to that number as well. So you should look that up, apparently.
I will.
Anyway, random thought. Let's bring everybody back in. Let's see if we can do that. So Taban, thank you so much. Taban was mentioning there what she's been able to do, what she's learned from the growth project, and how it's enabled her to create the second charity. I'd like to ask, I'll throw this open actually. I'm going to do a different view. There we go. I can see all of you now. That's better. I'll do my head in a moment, but we'll try. I'd like to ask you specifically, thinking about, and a few people have mentioned the one-pager, the business plan one-page element of the program, but are there other areas that have resonated with you, that have enabled you to do something better or to do something new? I'd like to start with Stephen, if he's okay to start. What about you, Steve?
Yeah. A couple of things for me. Personally, there's been a few huge things for me. Being able to explore the concept of leadership, really, and something that I picked up, was a big moment for me, is really exploring and realizing that there's a massive difference between being a manager and being a leader. You know, the way, as a leader, the way that you think, the way that you behave, communicate, you know, and that's sort of one thing that has really inspired me and kind of ignited something in me, I think, around that. But separately, I've kind of been on a bit of a journey. A couple of people have referred to it already, around the Lumina profiling that we did at the start, and the coaching sessions that Nicole referred to that we've all had. And like the coaching sessions were fantastic with Paul and Nicole. And like for me personally, the assessments really highlighted some key strengths that I have, which I think I deep down I knew I had those skills, but I don't think I'd ever realized and had someone talk to me about how central those skills are to what I do day to day. And actually they are skills that make me a good leader. And I guess coming out of it, it's the confidence it's given me, and it's been quite transformational, actually, you know, in my ability to kind of face daily situations with more confidence than even more confidence than I would have before. And whenever, I suppose now, when I'm in moments of challenge or uncertainty, I find myself leaning into it with so much self-assurance, you know, more than before. So.
Brilliant. Thank you, Steve. Thank you very much. That's fantastic. I want to pick up with someone else in a moment around the distinction for you between leadership and management, but we'll park that just for a moment. Let me ask Sat. Sat, from your point of view, what's been a highlight that you can go, that I heard that and it affected me in this way?
I think for me, when we started the program, we did a values workshop, and that was really profound. I think as leaders in our everyday sort of charities, we're very busy, often sort of doing quite a lot of need with very little resource. So we're constantly kind of chasing, putting fires out, trying to support people, and taking that step back and doing the value session at the beginning, and following what Steve said as well about having them coaching sessions with Nicole. I think what stood out to us was the knowing ourselves better, our whole personality and our values, helps us to support others better. And that's probably something that was really profound for me. You know, we're so busy doing, supporting, and yeah, taking that step back and having that reflection was really important.
And over to Ben. Thank you, Sat, for sharing that. Ben, Ben W, from your perspective, I mean, it's amazing when you know, I did this in March as well, and it's like for me, I'm suddenly going, you're talking about profound moments, you're talking about real change, you're talking about self-knowledge, you're talking about practical stuff. I mean, it's literally like a buffet of brilliant stuff. What was the best bit of the buffet for you, Ben?
Well, I mean, the whole buffet tasted delicious, absolutely. And the larks will be looking forward to it, no doubt. I mean, for me, a combination of two things really had an impact for us. At the start of this year, we got hit pretty bad by some government funding cuts, and that also landed at the same time as the values and, and the resilience sessions that people have been talking about. And that kind of really helped ground me and give me perspective at a time of pretty major crisis, I'd say. But then a couple of other things came in later on that really, and actually I've spoken to a few of the other founders and entrepreneurs here, has provided a lot of discipline and like helped us with prioritization quite a lot. And there's one particular moment where the concepts of rocks, gravel and sand was introduced to us, which I'll leave for the larks to find out in their future sessions. But at the time when I heard Paul describe it, I immediately thought that is quite another level of BS that I haven't quite encountered. But actually it was so powerful in helping me prioritize work. And now we're kind of sitting at the end of the year where we've completely rebuilt our fundraising pipeline. And it's just so helped me focus and kind of, and someone mentioned earlier transformative, and I think it's a really good way to sum it up.
Ben, thank you. Moving to Kate. Kate, the other person from Clarkson's. Hello, not the other person, another person from Clarkson's. And from your perspective, what was the big thing?
I think there was a couple of big things, but for me, I loved the workshops. The workshops were, we had, you know, they're one day a month, we all got together. And I think one of us touched on this a bit earlier, but, you know, we all were on these virtual sessions for quite intense days, a lot of the time, really digging deep into some interesting topics. And you share so much with people you've never met before. You dig real deep, it can be very emotional. And I think for me, I was taken aback by how close we all became so quickly. And so it's been a real highlight being able to meet up. A couple of us had a few beers a few weeks ago, and hopefully we've got another one next December. And I think there'll be some really lasting relationships, which is really great. So the workshops for sure are up there, really up there, because they became a kind of time where we all got to be together and really spend that time doing some valuable stuff.
Thank you. Let's jump over to Ben S, who we heard from before. I just want to ask you unfairly, because I'm intrigued, because what Stephen said about the difference between management and leadership. For you, how would you define being a leader versus being a manager? Just in your own words, just literally a couple of sentences.
Put me on the spot. I'm just
sorry, Ben.
Leadership course, summarising that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I can summarise the difference between leadership. I'm not sure I can put it in succinct words. I think I can feel the difference now. And the difference is when I am grounded in myself, I'm much more self-aware and able to step back, look at how everyone's operating and help everyone become their best selves around me, as opposed to just telling people what to do the whole time.
I think that's a brilliant definition. In fact, you talk about feeling it rather than articulating. I think that's probably one of the best definitions I've ever heard. So if that's what you've done, brilliant, bravo. Thank you, Ben. I think it's time to jump over to Laura, who's going to, with her fantastic hair, come into the spotlight. Where are you, Laura? There she is. Look, where have you gone? There. Hello.
Hello.
It's nice to see you again. You're very active on LinkedIn. You're very good on LinkedIn. If anyone needs to,
I love a bit of that.
She loves a bit of LinkedIn. Does Laura?
Yeah, I
do. I think it's time to look to I think we can look into the future, apparently, and you're going to share a film. Is that right?
We can do that. We can do that now. Let me tell you a little bit about, as some of you know, All our cohorts are named after birds, following the tradition started in Australia. And next year, as has been mentioned by a few people, the cohort is going to be called the larks. So we thought maybe we should tell you why. The lark is one of the only birds who can sing whilst they're flying, unlike most birds who can only sing when they're perched on a branch, which makes them truly unique, but also shows how they are great multitaskers. Did you know also that the larks are very good mimics of other birds' songs? And to mimic, you have to listen very hard. And so we hope that our next set of leaders are equally adept at learning from others and adopting their best practices and habits. So what we've done is we've collected some wisdom from our 2021 cohort, the Keas, who are now passing on the baton to the larks before they start their journey with us next March. So we're going to share the video of all of your wise words.
So the one piece of advice I would give to the new cohort, the larks, is...
One sentence of advice to the larks.
My advice to the next cohort is...
One piece of advice I would give to the larks is...
My one piece of advice for next year's group.
Advice to the next cohort.
My advice to the larks is...
One bit of advice I would give: be as honest and as open as you can be. Vulnerability is not a weakness, so use it as a tool.
The one piece of advice I would give to the next cohort is to just really embrace the learning and dig into the information that you're given at the Growth Project and into your Growth Partnership. I had a weekly catch up with Ben and it really helped, and it just enables you to use the information so much more effectively to improve your whole life and your relationships and not just your professional work.
I would say to come to the sessions open-minded, stay focused and have fun.
Jump in with both feet.
Put your out of office on. Tune in, turn up, turn your phone off, connect, contribute and ask questions.
Be ready to be vulnerable and open to the experience, because you're going to learn so much. It's actually not what I thought it would be, so I don't know what you're expecting, but you'll be pleasantly surprised.
Be open, to be available, to learn new things, sometimes in the most unexpected way. So be ready to be a bit shaken.
After you've done one of the sessions, the monthly sessions, I would try and take half a day or a day the next day to really basically digest what you've learned. There's so much that you just need to go back over it, and I think I probably didn't make enough time to actually do that. So I have got all the links and I'm going to go back over it.
Just take time to get to know everybody individually as much as you can and enjoy every minute, because it really does go too quickly.
One of the great resources of the Growth Project are the people who are attracted to it. Make the most of that opportunity of really getting to know the others on the course.
I would try to meet up with at least one person every month, because it's a missed opportunity not to connect with the rest of your cohort.
Talk to your growth partner as much as you can, and also talk to each other's growth partners as much as you can. Connect and the good stuff will come.
Spend as much time as you can with your growth partner.
I would say you're going to have an amazing journey. You're going to meet fantastic new people. You're going to have a new group, almost a new family, and definitely it's going to be an enjoyable process. You're going to learn so much, you're going to grow so much, and you won't recognise yourself next year for a good reason.
Take it all in, be present, try and engage as much as you can. And yeah, I really hope that you guys will get to meet each other in person. I think that makes a huge difference, and building rapport with your partner and the other attendees face-to-face wins hands down, and I really hope that 2022 is your year.
Really commit to the process. You put the dates in your diary
and just treat them like any other personal commitment, holiday day or otherwise, and reward yourself with that time to reflect, to learn, to be inspired by others. I guarantee you won't regret it.
Make time for the process and each other, because it goes fast.
Invest in your growth partner. It is absolutely worthwhile.
Don't wait, don't hold back, immerse yourself and connect with everyone.
Fantastic. Wow. But that's not enough, right? I mean, we're greedy here. So I think what we're going to do, thank you so much for the film and for Laura. We're going to go back in time in our little TARDIS, 6 months, back in March, when we said happy hellos to the Jays. We've got a couple of those people that we brought back to talk about whether this thing that happened in the moment has sustainability, because great purpose has at its core sustainability, right? It isn't all about the week that passes, it's about the months and the years. So it's a hello to these lovely people. Hello to Alison, to Lucy, to Simon. I'm trying to see who else I think we're going to start though. Where are you? There's Debbie. Hello, Debbie. Hi. Good to see you. I'm just going to close the chat. Actually, before we do that, I just want to say, because I did ask you at the beginning where everyone was at, and we had some very sweet alliterations and some other spell checks. Hello from Sydney, we know that. Hello, evening from Edinburgh, very nice. Greetings from Leeds, hello from London. Hello from Higgins Park, East London, very nice. Greater London, Manchester, Notting Hill, Cheshire, Lancashire. Blimey, this is pretty good, isn't it? And anyone else who's watching, excellent, who's joined us soon. Right, so Debbie, let's start with you.
Hi everyone, good to see everybody.
Your growth partner was Nikki, if I recall.
It was.
But it sounds like you've gone and got busy with Alison. I mean, like, one wasn't enough. You've got another one. There she is, and her charity Best Beginnings. What's happening? What's going on?
I got a bit of a phone call from Alison when she heard I was going to be have a bit more time on my hands at the beginning of the year. Can you come along and just give me a hand for a few weeks? 9 months later.
You're still there.
And we're still working together, and we're still talking to each other as well, which is pretty good, I reckon.
And when it moves, just before I talk to Alison, when it moves from you're on a course to then, you know, it's like being on a holiday camp when you're a kid and then you go back to the real world. What's the real world like? Is it the same or is it better? Or, I mean, what's actually different from that moment when you're sort of forced together?
I mean, look, I'm a massive fan of the Growth Project. And I just felt that when we finished up last year, I still wanted to stay connected, and Alison gave me an amazing opportunity to not only connect further, but really look at my real passion, which is how businesses really support charities and charities really support businesses. So if you like, I flipped over to the other side, and I've been working in effect in the charity sector with Alison, and the wealth of experience that I've got from doing that and really understanding what charities need has been amazing. And if it wasn't for the Growth Project, then I would never have been given this opportunity, which is sadly going to come to an end in another week, because I actually do need to sort of, I guess, go back to the real world, the commercial side of the world. But it's been amazing. It's been really, really good. And I hope that Alison feels that it's been a good journey too.
And Alison, if you, you know how those magicians have those hats and then they do tricks and they pull out, if you had 3 tricks that you could pull out that described what Debbie has brought you, what would the top 3 be?
Oh, wow. 3 would be difficult just to do 3. I mean, you know, oh my goodness. It's just the can do, I guess the intellect, the rigor, and the communication. So kind of effective communication within the team, just raising the bar within and supporting.
That's a good amount.
Very uncogent at this time of the evening. My goodness.
No, you're being very
there's just so much to it. There is so much to it, and I guess Debbie's role has been quite has evolved over the time, because what Debbie's done, and I'm so grateful to her for it, has pivoted to do different specific things at different times over these last months, depending on our strategic priorities and also our capacity gaps. So I guess flexibility, adaptability as well has been amazing. And just the energy as well that she's brought has been phenomenal. And
just before I turn to Lucy and Simon, what made you reach out to Debbie at that time? Was there a specific thing, or was it like, well, of course I'm going to ask her because she can really help me? Or was there a little epiphany or a pivotal moment?
Well, I guess there's two aspects to that. I had my eye on Debbie the whole way through the Growth Project because I knew what she brought and her strengths. I also, it was just beautiful to see how she worked so well with her partner. To me, there's that kind of opportunity aspect. So I knew that she was coming free, and I had a key role that was missing. And I just sort of put the two together and thought, wouldn't it be amazing if? But it was a moment of, can I ask? Is it okay to ask? I was very keen to make sure I didn't in any way step on Nikki's toes, because that relationship was and is, you know, so special.
It's still there.
Yeah,
Nikki,
exactly.
I love you. I know you're listening, I think.
But so I do think it was about that moment that I could see this could really work. I didn't know what Debbie would think, but if you don't ask, you don't know. So it was actually kind of overcoming that little obstacle. I pick up the phone and here we are 9 months later.
Well, I think it's something, thank you both Alison and Deb. I think it's something that a couple of the Keas have said, which is about being super open and about bringing your whole self to it, which you obviously did, Alison, because you kind of went for it, which has been fabulous. Debbie and Alison, thank you. Let's move over to Lucy and Simon. Lucy, I hear there's a bit of Friday lunch club action going on, and not just with you and Simon, but I think not just with you, but with Mark and Karen and Paul Freeman. So how has this developed? How have you managed to get them into a regular bit of, well, I mean, I suppose food's quite easy with most of those people. I mean, Mark's a big unit and he likes a bit of food, and Paul's a bit partial. But what's that? Where did that come from, and why are you still doing it?
One of the amazing things about the Growth Project was meeting people that I otherwise would not have met, and particularly during COVID when I spent most of my time in my house. And it's been amazing to carry that on, and to, you know, it's almost like there's a portion of time in those lunches where we'll go around the table and we'll kind of, you know, everybody will be agony aunt for everybody else, where we'll kind of all talk about what's going on and solve each other's problems. But it's been really nice to do that.
It sounds very nice. Simon, over to you. If for those who don't know, Simon's charity is called My Great Art. I hear that you had some crazy limited edition piece of art that sold out in 45 seconds for a humongous and ridiculous and obscene amount of money, which is sort of a pretty woman moment, which is good. It's brilliant. You've also managed, I think, to convince Paul and Karen to come onto your board. Is that right? How have you managed the second? I mean, the first bit is almost not quite bread and butter because you're pretty unusual talent. But the second one, what was it, do you think, that Paul and Karen have gone for in terms of joining your advisory board?
I should sort of be truthful. I think, Lucy, you didn't quite tell the lunch story correctly. It is just an excuse to get pissed. We drink about 3 bottles of wine at lunch.
Yeah. I didn't want to push, but I kind of figured there'd be that. There is always an underlying truth, but I just didn't. I thought Lucy was being so polite. I thought I'd just leave her, let her be graceful about it. You can be, you know, honest.
It always starts as well with everyone being like, I can't drink too much. It's lunchtime on a Friday, and Paul is the worst offender of that. And he's the one ordering the extra bottle of wine all the time.
You're shocking me to the core, Simon. So yeah, how did you get them onto your board though? Apart from getting them drunk on a Friday, which is obviously a good strategy.
They've just become my friends as well. Like, it's not really about the Growth Project anymore. They're just part of my life. We text each other all the time. And I think I said this time when it was our graduation, always listen to Paul Freeman. And I still stand by that. Every piece of advice he's ever given me is his like knowledge of business is so deep that he's given me so much great advice. And Karen as well. She's actually not here because she's accepting some award for being a fantastic businesswoman. So yeah, it just made perfect sense. I met all these really people that are much smarter and more experienced than me. So I just decided to put them in a group, and see what they could advise me. And I've listened to all the advice and it's gone really well. So like last year with COVID, whilst I was on the growth project, we had our best year ever. And then we've beaten that again this year. So everything's just growing. And as you said, we had this crazy print release that sold out in 45 seconds, raised about 300 grand in 45 seconds, which is kind of amazing. And then we're just about to release another print with Anish Kapoor in 2 weeks, which is literally 2nd of December. If you want to buy a print from Anish Kapoor, go on our website. The money is actually, some of the money was going to band charity as well.
So if I Google Migrate Art, does it what's the website?
Migrateart.com.
Brilliant.
And it's really lovely to see Tabang, because I haven't seen her in a little while and I didn't even know about this whole second charity. So we have to catch up. It's really lovely to see you.
Very quickly, thank you, Simon. Very quickly, just before I go, from Lucy, apart from not telling me the truth about the wine, which I'll forgive you this time, in terms of just one lasting impact, if you think about it now, X number of months on, 6 months on since you graduated, give me one that's really changed and made a positive impact on your charity, Spread a Smile.
I can't only give you one. I'm going to really quickly give you more than one. I'm going to say that I've continued to meet Mark. We were together yesterday, and I save up my problems to talk to him about. Laura, the wonderful Laura's joined a comms committee we set up at Spread a Smile. Got regular access to Paul Freeman's brain, which is a wonderful thing, and he continues to give very sound advice. I'm talking to one of the guys who was on the program last year, whose company are potentially having a Spread a Smile golf day, which would be amazing. And obviously I've made some wonderful friends.
That was about 17. That's pretty good. Thank you. Well, why not? You made up for it. Okay, I can forgive you on the wine now. It's over. I've got a good ability to forget things. Lucy, Simon, thank you. Brilliant stuff, both of you. Lovely to see you. We're wrapping up. We're hurtling towards the end, and I hope you're still there and enjoying it and feeling pretty inspired, because I am. Let me bring in Nicole and Paul. Hopefully it works. There's Paul. Fantastic. And where's Nicole? There she is. Brilliant. Okay, and in fact, I think I've got one more. Helen. Can't forget Helen. Where's Helen from? There she is. Helen from UK Sage. There you are. Hello. Lovely to see you. So, Nicole, let's start with you. Obviously, you know, it becomes a platitude to talk about the last 18 months of our lives in terms of just so many upending of all the things that we took for granted before this pandemic hit and before climate change was put into stark relief in a way that probably none of us have seen in our lifetimes. We've all read about it and talked about it, but it feels existential now in a way that I don't think it did. And there's many other feelings like that. The making a profit isn't quite a dirty thought, but it isn't quite as pure as it was. Tell me what the Growth Project is doing to help businesses understand how they can deliver purpose and not feel bad about making a profit.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I think that there is definitely a rise in this focus on purpose, which previously was more difficult for us to speak so directly about. But you know, now I think, you know, obviously profit's important to enable, well, I suppose to get the shareholders on board to yes, they want to create money, but also to support for the greater good, even if it's not necessarily their intention. I think that what's happening right now in the world is, especially with Gen Z coming in, is that people don't want to work for organizations that are not purpose driven. And we're just seeing increasingly with this focus on sustainability, it's all about an equal attention to planet, purpose, people, that organizations no longer have a choice. It's something now that's critical because you know, people are now more than ever, especially with COVID, they're on purpose, they're seeking purpose, they want more than, and it's just not good enough to work for an organization that's so outwardly just about the money and just about commercial. It's about how can they really prove that they have a commitment, a passion, a drive towards making a difference in this world.
But let me ask you a question just on that. So this group of people that I've seen tonight are Keas and the J's from March. It's like you want to bottle this. There's not millions of people here. We're talking about tens of people. How are you going to help scale this? I'm going to call it a movement for a moment. How are you going to help scale it? Because there's plenty of businesses, and I see this day in, day out, who say the things that you've just said, but you said it with authenticity, but they're saying it because they need to say it still. So how can you take this thing that you've got and make it bigger and impactful everywhere? What are you thinking about as you move forward?
So I'm about to, Paul, I can see you're raring to go for it.
He can't help himself. Paul, do you want to answer the question?
Yeah, you're 2 hours ahead, Nicole, so it's getting late. I think that the scale, well, actually, we've got Helen here, so she's living embodiment within Sage of the scale of it, and I know she's going to talk about Sage Grow in a minute. But I think one of the aims and ambitions of the Growth Project is to prove its worth, prove its value, and then talk to businesses about bringing it inside their own four walls. And Helen will talk about this, but there's no reason why a business can't run their own growth project and get 50 leaders, 100 leaders, however many you want, as many charities as you can find, and there's more than enough of them out there.
Yeah.
What we can do is show those businesses how to do it. The Growth Project, really, what we're doing now is kind of stage one for us in a way. I think probably stage one was Australia. Stage two is what we're doing here, which is a continuation of it. But we know it works. It's proven, and you can hear it just from the anecdotal stuff as well as the actual evidence that we have, the statistical evidence we have. It's there. So businesses who are maybe feel they're a bit behind the curve when it comes to the whole purpose piece. This is a almost sort of oven ready piece of purpose work that you can put into your business, and you can just run with it.
And of course, Paul, to scale anything, whether it's investment or whether it's people that, literally the virus spreads, but a good virus of positive thought, it needs structure, it needs organization. So many people have mentioned your one page, or they've said, oh, Paul's got, great advice and all that. We mustn't confuse purpose with some soft notion of how an organization is run. How are you ensuring that that doesn't happen?
You mean within the charities that we work with?
Yeah, I mean within any organization, but especially with the charity, because of course the purpose of all the charities tonight is to do brilliant things.
Yeah.
In order to do brilliant things, you need to be organized.
I don't know if this is going to answer it accurately because it's quite a fresh thought, but it came up today in the final workshop that we had. And purpose is a really important word, but purpose actually means different things to a certain extent, whether you're a charity or you're a for-profit. If you're a for-profit, purpose is in its day-to-day embodiment is about tasks, KPIs, objectives, meeting your plan. That's how people get a sense of purpose in working in a corporate or working in the business world. The bit that's very often missing is the purpose, which is the more noble cause. Why are we here? What are we doing this for? And I think that that there's something lacking there, but it's almost the opposite when you go the other way round. And charities have that noble purpose and that cause, but they're somewhat lacking very often in the purpose to do with the KPIs, the drive, the structure. So you can't, and somebody said, Ben said today, even if you're in a charity, it's not enough to always get you out of bed in the morning just to have a noble cause. We're human beings, we like drive and motivation. We need to actually be motivated by the jobs we do as well as the reason we're doing it. So purpose kind of sits, it means different things to different people, but charities have the need to get very often much more on it when it comes to giving their people a purpose in ways that businesses would take for granted. And it's the other way around. And that's kind of what blurring the line for us is all about. We just, if we can move them both together, all of a sudden it becomes indistinguishable. I don't know if I've answered your question.
You've answered my question. It's an excellent answer. Thank you. Talking about blurring the lines, of course, and where this began, and in terms of bringing purpose to life in an organization. Helen, You're with Sage. Sage is behind this. Larry, you know, started this whole thing off. You've got your own program now. I believe that Sage has created this thing called Sage Grow. Thinking about what you've heard tonight, what are you going to take back? What are you going to be doing differently, do you think, in Sage Grow, based on these fantastic insights, of which I want to just touch on before I close up and hand over to Nicole? What was big for you tonight?
Well, first of all, thank you so much. It's always such an inspiring event to attend and to really hear how much of a difference this project is making to people individually. So before I speak a little bit about Sage Foundation Grow, which is exactly what Paul and Nicole were just talking about, which is that we really saw something in the growth project, and we were really keen to bring it in house. But before I do, I just really want to sort of call out the fact that for us at Sage and in Sage Foundation, you know, it's been really important what the growth project is looking to do, and for us it's really doing three things. The connect, all of this is about human connection, and the fact that what you've seen here today, you've had people talking about the real connection that they've had with others, both their partners and actually beyond. That is one of the most transformative parts of the project, and the thing which continues to live on. But also the other aspect, you know, the fact that by undergoing this exercise, we're really improving the services which each of the charity leaders and an extent to the business leaders as well, improving the ability of each of them for the services that they're providing to the beneficiaries that they're working with. And then finally, I mean, I really hope that people get this. It genuinely feels like a transformative approach for so many. Everybody who is engaged with this project, you know, talks about the magic, and talks about the fact that this is one of those once in a lifetime experiences, and both personally and professionally, that's something that they're going to that's really going to take away with them. So first, I just wanted to call out those things. Secondly, Sage Foundation Grow. So this is a project which has just finished its first year, its pilot in Australia, of course, where it all began with Larry, and it's been an amazing year where we've had 6 charities, youth charity, all based around youth initiatives, who have come together to work with our Sage Australian leadership team. It's obviously been an interesting year in terms of some of the challenges of doing that, but actually every single participant would echo everything that you've heard today in terms of the transformative experience that they have had. And there have been some amazing results, which I won't do justice with in the time that I've got here. But one of the fantastic sort of legacy parts of this actually is that it is going to continue, and those charities are working together to actually to really put together the idea of a youth hub, continuing to work together to really improve the services for young people in Australia. So I think it's been an absolutely fantastic experience. And to just give you a little bit of a flavour of where we're going next, so you know, the pilot has been a runaway success, and we are really pleased that we're going to be launching in February into our second market in Canada. So we've already chosen the theme, which is again going to be around young people, but really sort of focused in on those who are experiencing economic inequality, and charities which are based in that space. So we're launching that program in February. We're going to be having around about 10 to 12 of our senior Canadian leaders taking part, along with charities which they'll be paired up with, and we're really excited to take it on another phase next year and then beyond.
Wow. You've packed a lot into a very short space of time, Helen. That was amazing. Thank you. And it didn't sound too fast. Phenomenal. Thank you. There's obviously a lot going on and a lot to look forward to. I'm just going to say a couple of quick things before, because we're slightly behind time, but Paul hasn't wrapped my knuckles yet, about 180 seconds behind time. So hopefully you're still all attentively watching and involved in this. Openness to me tonight, all of you Keas that are about to go out, has been such a key thing that you've talked about and that you've exhibited, that you've demonstrated, which I think is a fabulous thing to do, and a fabulous disposition to have. Paul has talked, and you've all talked about the learning. It's an obvious thing, but congratulations for being part of a learning organisation. The connections which Helen mentioned are critical, and as you've seen, they're sustainable, assuming again that you put that effort in, and I know you will. But the thing that I think really grabs me, and I think this is the hardest thing about ambiguity and uncertainty in life, and all of us as we get older, and it happens to all of us unbelievably, is feeling confident about the world, about the challenges in front of you. And I think that's, if there's one thing that it seems to be giving you, and of course that's imbued with purpose and all those other wonderful things, it's, I can't remember if it was, I think it may have been one of the Bens, but again, apologies if it isn't, if I misattribute it. It's hard to see yourself out of context. It's hard to see yourself. And I think it's brilliant that when you see yourself out of context, you realize just how fabulous you are and what talent you have and what depths of understanding you have and what you can bring to the world. And that to me is, it makes this really special. So I'm going to say thank you for asking me to do this. I'm going to hand over to Nicole, and I think she'll take you through the final moments of the presentation.
Thank you, Elliot. So, gosh, we have finally come to the end. On behalf of Paul and myself, we just want to thank a number of people who've really made the Growth Project possible and brilliant. And then we're going to end with a special video that's dedicated to the Keas. So firstly, Helen and Sage and Debbie, it's wonderful that you're here. Just thank you for your partnership and in really making the TGP possible. We wouldn't be doing what we're doing without your support, so thank you. This also wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for Larry's genius, divine wisdom, and absolute passion for good. I mean, you're a phenomenal person, and it comes through in everything that you say and do. And we're just really grateful that you not only gave birth to the Growth Project, but that you actually allowed us to share your baby. Really forever grateful. Thank you. And a massive thank you to Paul, who is my role model at so many levels. I love working with you more and more. I'm amazed by your unconditional commitment. You know, I know that you've got your full-time business that you run, and yet somehow you always find space and time for everybody around you. You're like a magic box. If someone's got a need, you are there, and your word and your actions are completely aligned. You go far beyond the call of duty. You're even still working and supporting the prior cohort, the J's has been shared. And yeah, you're amazing, and your passion, your care, and also your pursuit of excellence in everything that you do. It's a privilege to work with you. Thank you. And then to the rest of the TGP team, Laura, you're just magnificent. I completely love your creative spark and the energy. Again, no matter what's going on in your life, you know, we come on our calls and you are just present. You're there with your huge heart and your huge creativity and intuition and initiatives. And you just contribute in so many varied ways. And our Facebook group is thriving because of you and really helping us sustain you know, the value and the community of the Growth Project. So thank you for your specialness and your care. And someone who's perhaps a bit quieter tonight, Jess, who's working behind the scenes. I don't know whether you're able to spotlight yourself. A huge thank you. You are so grounded, and again, there's been a lot going on in your life also with long COVID, and no one would ever know because you are so on it all the time. You know, your efficiency, your ability to adapt in terms of your agility, there's a need, you're on it, and you deliver complete excellence. You go far beyond, and your deep care. It's a real privilege to work with you. Thank you. You actually continue to amaze me. And then to the Lark cohort, so our upcoming group, we really hope that tonight inspires you and really look forward to working with you in the future. I'd hope that if you're not here tonight, when you see this video, that it really does inspire you and that you really will listen to all the advice shared tonight about maximizing the potential benefit that's available to you. And my one but final thank you is to you, Elliot. You are amazing. Just capture all of us all the time and just take us through this journey. You know, you're like one of the team, even though we only see you annually. So really bring it alive. You're completely talented and know why you're so successful. Thank you. And finally, to why we are here tonight, which is really to celebrate the magnificent human beings of the Keas. Just please stay in touch. We don't want to let you go. Really, each of you have got a huge place in our hearts, and you are just completely growing and skyrocketing and we just want to stay on your journey. So stay in touch and keep us updated. And as a token of our appreciation, you have each received a gift, and if you can hold up your gifts just to share so people can see what Laura has been brilliantly timing deliveries. Yay! Thank you. So these are the wonderful bonsai trees, which after much discussion, we have discovered is what kind of bonsai, Adam?
Big.
Yay, we got it. And I've got to admit, I also didn't know there were different, that bonsais actually generated fruit. So I was with you there, but I was very silent as you were revealing that. So the bonsai, not only that are fruit generating, are very special little trees because they really represent key gifts that we think that that you demonstrate, but also that we want to bless you with. And they are balance, strength, and stability. So our final words for you are to stay grounded, bend with the wind, because we just don't know what's coming next in this world, and really just to keep growing. So thank you to each of you for making all of our lives so special by partnering with you on this journey. So we would like to end with another little gift that you don't know that's coming, that's been created by Paul and Laura's magnificent artistic daughter, Connie, who's created a special video. So hope that you enjoy it. And thank you everyone, all of the audience that's come out at this time to be here and to really just acknowledge and celebrate the Keas and the Growth Project. Thank you.
My growth partner is Gemma, and she's incredible. Every single time I speak with Gemma, I leave the conversation inspired to be better.
So Ben, my growth partner, is first and foremost creative. He is always fizzing and buzzing with new ideas, new ways of looking at things, and always trying to find fresh perspectives on things.
My growth partner, Adam, was really inspiring. I think it was seeing the light bulb moments he had at different times during the sessions and seeing the slight changes that he made, or the way in which he thought about his future career. That was really inspiring to me.
She knows who she is and what she stands for, and she's a role model in so many of the things that we've learned during the Growth Project this year, whether that's physical well-being or mental well-being. She's pretty much got it nailed.
He's also very empathetic listener. I've learned a lot from the way he kind of listens and takes things in and is thoughtfully responds. And I think he's really quite modest and self-deprecating, doesn't perhaps really appreciate the kind of level of professionalism and just the level of expertise and delivery he's bringing to his organisation.
Chloe is exceptionally bright, exceptionally driven, very tenacious.
He helped a lot with practical things, so thinking a little bit more corporate minded has been really helpful for me.
She's a brilliant person. She never avoids difficult situations. She seizes opportunities. She's thoughtful, she's thought-provoking. She's been great.
Kim is very much the opposite to me, I think, in that she's very measured, she's very controlled. She likes to think things through. She takes her time in considering her options. And it really has been a great lesson to me, because I'm the kind of person that wants to rush in and make decisions quickly and get things going, and Kim is not like that.
Connie is an absolute ray of sunshine. She's kind, caring, thoughtful, very ambitious for the charity, highly entrepreneurial and operational at the same time.
Michelle is such a nice person. She's really unassuming, but she's so determined and really driven as well.
I think the learning that I took from meeting Kim is that I do need to take a step back. We could all benefit from that, and it's been an absolute pleasure working with her. She really is passionate and changes lives every day.
She's an incredibly hard worker. Honestly, I couldn't have been happier to have met at this stage of my life. She's been a huge influence on me, helping me learn about myself and my leadership style throughout the growth project, and really the importance of purpose and impact in my work going forward.
She's really grown the reach and the outlook for Street Pause during this year. She's achieved so many things. An amazing lady, and I hope we stay in contact.
Sophia has been such a good growth partner on this journey of the growth project. Every week, every conversation in some way is an event, but I think the most significant thing is she is so empowering.
I love being partnered up with Jemima. Jemima is a great person, and I can't believe how we would just match so perfectly. All the skills that she has and all the personality traits that she has were very complementary to things that I needed to learn. It's a really useful way of me seeing what parts that I need to grow in.
She's helped me not only understand the tools and the knowledge that we've got from the growth project in each session, but given me the confidence to use it. And after every conversation, I come out feeling 10 times taller and with 10 times more ideas. Thank you so much, Sophia.
I just want to say a massive thank you to Anne-Sophie. It's been a real privilege to be paired with you as my growth partner for this year. I've developed so much, I've learned so much from some of the books and coaching and just general chats that we've had over the year.
Meeting Cheryl for the first time was breathtaking, and I say that in the kindest possible way, as she had so much to share about Remember My Baby and genuinely hardly took a breath at our first meeting. Her talents as a photographer, her passion for Remember My Baby, and her slightly mischievous personality had me hooked immediately.
A few words to describe Anne. She is inspirational, kind, and a true fighter. When I first met her and heard her story, it moved me to tears. She has a courage and strength like no one else I've ever met. And when she talks about the lotus flower, there's a real fire that burns inside of her.
You've just been very patient with me as things have been growing, and I feel the real difference between my growth journey where I am now and from when I started.
She deserves all the respect and accolade she receives. I have made a great connection and a friend potentially for life in Cheryl. Thank you, Growth Project.
It's been a pretty rollercoaster year for us all, and I just feel really glad that I got to share the experience with this truly remarkable person.
Rachel was my growth partner this year, and she's been absolutely brilliant. Her advice has been amazing. She's put ideas in my mind I never even thought of before, and from the offset we just really hit it off, which I think really helped us to grow together as a team.
So the key thing you need to know about Matt is that he is an absolute rock star. The last year's been pretty challenging in lots of different ways, but he's just been there week in, week out, not just with excellent advice and help, but really just our conversations have just kept me so happy, healthy, motivated throughout everything. It's been amazing.
My growth partner was a critical friend. He was a sounding board, someone to test new ideas out, and importantly was a window on some new experiences that aided my development.
So Sat is an amazing young leader. He's very ambitious and very determined, and at the same time quite humble and kind and very creative in the way he's leading his company.
I've never met anyone more generous with their time and talents, and really mate, it's just been an absolute privilege to get to know you over the last year, and long may it continue. Cheers man.
I was really lucky to partner with him because he gave me confidence and particularly courage to achieve what I wanted to achieve, so thank you, Sat.
So Kate Behrman is my amazing growth partner, mentor and friend, and what can I say about Kate? She is absolutely amazing. She has gone above and beyond for me this year, supporting me on all aspects of business. I would say that the impact that Kate has had on me specifically is she's made me feel incredibly confident in myself and in the new strategy for our charity. So for that, I'm incredibly grateful.
It's been an absolute joy working with Ben Skelton on this. From day one, we just agreed we were going to talk all the time and get as much out of this as we could and put in order to get out, and it's been wonderful. I don't think Ben has any idea how much he's helped me. I think he thinks it's a bit the other way, and it totally isn't. Like on a personal level, it's just been wonderful.
Kate, I hope to not only have you as a mentor, but also a friend for life. So thank you for being amazing as always.
I've met a friend, I've made a connection, and I've just had a blast. Ben's brilliant. Love him.
That's wonderful, guys. Another cohort graduates from the Growth Project. We hope that we achieved our aims tonight, that you found it insightful. And judging by the chat messages, I think you found it inspiring. I certainly did. And I've been with this lot for ages. I hope that we conveyed the love, the respect, the camaraderie that comes from being part of the Growth Project. We are still recruiting charity and business leaders for 2022. The programme starts in March, so if you know of any potential larks, you know, the ones who can fly and sing at the same time, if you know any exceptional leaders open to learning with an abundant mindset, then please let us know. The Growth Project was designed to be like a stone that is thrown into a pond, makes a big splash. It disturbs things, sometimes more than you think, for a bit. And then the ripples start to spread. And we see those ripples as a realization that great leadership looks pretty much identical, whether you're in a big corporate or if you're in a small charity. And that's because leadership is founded in values and it's personal. Those ripples are also realization that things need to change. Charities need to invest more in their own sustainability and growth, starting with investing in their leaders. And they need to find new ways to open up the corporate and business world to offer them a valuable two-way experience that opens up their hearts as well as their wallets. The ripples are also businesses fully embracing the idea that making money and doing good are completely intertwined. The old model of making money and only then giving some away is broken. It's like an old diesel car in the world of electric vehicles. No one's buying it anymore. So to the wonderful Keas, it's been an amazing experience for us all. I know it's been life-changing for some of you. But this is just the start for you. The stones hit the water. Now go make some ripples. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We hope that this time next year we can all meet up in person and celebrate the old-fashioned way with a good old party. Until then, thanks again, stay safe, and good night.